welcome back to Thousands of Roots. Today we have a Q&A video. Each month there's a few of our patrons that have the option of asking questions that we then put into a video form. And this month we got a question from Laura. So thank you, Laura, for your question. We are answering your question today. After dealing with storms in the past months or so, what plans or changes do you plan to make to your homestead to better protect your family, livestock, and gardens? Great question.
We really don't have any changes to the plans that we have to make.
Right. A few years ago we were blessed to be able to take a permaculture design class with Jeff Lawton, and we actually designed our entire front 5 acres, and since then have continued to design the rest of our property. So in that design we had to think through everything, water flow, wind patterns, seasonal changes, potential microclimates, all of that. We just had to do a lot of thinking in order to complete that plan. So I don't think much has changed, being that we've been here now for almost 6 years. And so we've gotten to see many storms and experience many storms. I would say this year's storms have probably been some of the more severe, maybe?
Most severe as far as rainfall in periods of time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, major amounts of rainfall in short periods of time.
Right. So I would say one thing that has changed because of these more recent storms is our priority level on things. So when you're, obviously you all know this, when you're working a plan that involves things that are meant to last for years and years, permaculture, it's not something that you just put in really quickly and it's good to go. These permaculture designs take 5, 10, 20 or more years to develop. Although the plan does change a little through experience and as you go year to year, I think the thing that changes the most is your priority level on things. So this year, because of the severity of the storms, the priority level of getting a trench dug along our driveway has gone up high on the list. A lot higher than it used to be.
Yeah, we kept doing it by hand, and it just was not cutting the mustard.
Temporary measures, yeah.
And life happens though, like you have people show up and invade your whole property and your life, and so then you change priorities because people matter more than
projects.
Drainage ditch,
Right. Yeah, so we're constantly having to redo our priority list and shift things around depending on the season of the year and depending on just experience and what's happening in our lives. So.
Indeed.
Right. So I hope that answers your question, Laura. There's obviously a lot of details that we can't go into in this video. Our permaculture design would probably take several videos to explain.
Yeah. Although if you go way back, and dare I say, we'll link it here.
See if we can find it.
It's one of the first videos we did. It was I laid out the map of our permaculture design for the property, and I talked through it briefly, but I didn't talk about some of the minutia, like the drainage ditch that needs to go in. And what it is it's along our driveway is the main water flow. It comes down the field and then hits the driveway and then starts running on the driveway, and it runs past the driveway, through the driveway, and then into our garden. So if we put a drainage ditch on part of the driveway, then we'll carry that water down the driveway instead of passing through our driveway into the garden.
Right.
So that explains that little bit of it.
It requires machinery, and so it's a bigger project than we've been able to afford and make the time for yet, but yeah. It's up there on the priority list now.
Yeah, machinery and rock and maybe piping. We'll have to decide about all that part of it, but probably just make a whole nother type of French drain to make sure the water actually runs where we need it to go.
Right. And then we did recently have a question by not a patron, but just a regular viewer of our channel that's kind of along the same lines, so I thought it'd be fun to answer that. She wanted to know the difference between weather here in Missouri versus Arizona and Alaska. Two other places we've lived.
So let's just start at the place longest to go, right? Arizona. I'll explain it this way, you know, in my fun way. We had our best friends coming to visit, Chris and Tara Burton. And one time, Chris and I stepped outside. It was during the summer. It was 112 or whatever that it's likely to be there. And so we stepped outside, and I said, "Hold on, just stand still. You feel that?" He goes, "It feels like I'm in an oven." No, yeah, it feels like you're dying, huh? And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know why that is?" It's like, "Why?" I said, "Because you are dying." I said, "Brother, do you know why this place was not inhabited by the native peoples, or very, very, very sparsely? Because it was uninhabitable. That's why there was nobody there." No, but Arizona, truthfully, in my perspective, where we lived, it had 3 or 4 months were beautiful. The winter there.
Yeah.
Other than those 3 to 4 months, it was miserable for me. Just so hot. And yes, it's a dry heat. Okay, y'all. I know that so many of you say this, but it's a dry heat. Yeah, it's a dry heat. And you know what a dry heat does to you in the oven? It dries you out and kills you. That's what it does. What's your perspective on the weather in Arizona?
I actually didn't mind it as much because I don't like being cold. So for me, that the heat wasn't as intense. But I enjoy being outside so much, and it just really wasn't pleasant being outside for a lot of the year. So I felt confined to the house a lot, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heat was just killing me.
Yeah.
I would have to wait till after dark, like total dark, and I'd put a headlamp on, and that's when I would mow the lawn. I literally could not mow the lawn in the day without getting sick.
Yeah.
Sick. So, yeah, that was Arizona.
Great.
How about Alaska?
So Alaska obviously was the opposite extreme. And again,
I liked it more.
he liked it more, yeah. But again, I felt confined to the house a lot for the opposite reason, because most of the year it was too cold to be outside. Even in the summertime, on the warmer days often, it would be cloudy and it just didn't feel warm to me. So, yeah. We didn't have any real major storms there, though, which in Arizona we had crazy thunderstorms similar to here.
Monsoons.
So that was a nice thing about Alaska. The weather was a lot more mild in that way. You didn't have crazy storms coming through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for Alaska, for me, it's just like, well, just put on extra layers, you know. You can layer up, but in Arizona, you can't layer down
No.
any past your skin.
Right.
Especially if you have to be out and about, you know, you can only layer down so far and still be legal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could layer up in Alaska and deal with that a lot better. But I will say, like, for the children, layering them up,
It just wasn't worth the time. Yeah.
often they would go out and they would get cold so quick and come back in, and they would only be out for like,
Right, just a few minutes.
yeah,
They were done.
such a short time. It would take them longer to get them dressed and undressed than how long they spent outside.
Right.
So it just wasn't worth it.
I would say that probably Arizona and Alaska both kind of prepared us for Missouri, because Missouri has got both of those extremes. Not quite to the intensity, but still we get really hot, humid summers and then cold, cold winters. And we have storms that are intense, really intense storms here.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I think both of those states kind of helped prepare us for where we ended up.
Yeah. But this is the only one where we've ever been where we have all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Every year. And that's something that we were really looking forward to. And
Yeah.
we love it.
Yeah, it's really neat.
All 4 seasons. Nice long growing season, good average annual rainfall. So here we are, putting down roots.
Yep, here to stay.
One thing I will say about permaculture design, that we haven't made many major changes on our permaculture design, the one that I show at the beginning of our whole YouTubing venture, but we have made many modifications. So it's awesome to make a plan, but it's also really wise to observe as you go along and modify that plan as you go. Make it better.
Yeah.
Make it better.
Be constantly making it better.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. And we pray blessing over you and yours.
Whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.